My name is Linda, I'm 27 years old, and I'll never forget the night I realized who my real family was, and who never deserved a place in my life. The funny thing is, I used to be the type of girl who would bend over backward to make everyone happy. The nice one. The dependable cousin, the forgiving friend, the one who never said no. But that birthday, that was the night the mask slipped. I'd send out my invitations months in advance. Months. I booked a little restaurant downtown, the kind with exposed brick walls and candles in wine bottles, because I wanted something intimate but special. My 27th was supposed to be the turning point, a celebration of making it through a rough couple of years, finding my footing again after heartbreak, and finally stepping into a version of myself I actually liked. Everyone said they were coming. My mom, my sister, my cousins, my closest friends from high school. I spent weeks planning it, putting together little favors, even making a playlist I thought everyone would love. But 2 weeks before my big day, my cousin Amanda, perfect, dramatic Amanda, announced her baby shower. Not just announced it. She scheduled it for the exact same day. And somehow, no one batted an eye. They all chose her. Every single one of them. So when the night came, I was alone at a table for 20, staring at a row of empty chairs. The waiter tried to be polite, lighting the candles anyway, setting down the cake I'd ordered for myself. I laughed a little, because if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. And then my phone buzzed. It was a group text from Amanda's shower. Just 5 words, "Please come, we need you here." I looked at the screen, smiled to myself, and blew out the candles. Not a single wish for them. Only one for me. That was the night I decided things were going to change. I stared at my phone for a long time after that text came through. "Please come, we need you here." The nerve. For 27 years, I'd been the "we need you" girl. The last-minute babysitter. The free ride. The shoulder to cry on, even when no one cared how much I was crying inside. But that night, with a half-eaten slice of cake in front of me and 20 empty chairs staring back, something inside me shifted. I didn't text back. I didn't even open the message thread again. Instead, I sat there, enjoying the strange peace of knowing no one was coming. For once, it was just me, my thoughts, and the quiet hum of the restaurant. And I thought, if they can forget me this easily, maybe it's time I make sure they remember me forever. Over the next few days, I kept my distance. No angry posts, no passive-aggressive texts, nothing. Silence. If Amanda or anyone else thought I was sulking, they were dead wrong. I wasn't sulking. I was watching. Listening. Waiting. Because if I've learned anything, it's that revenge doesn't work when it's rushed. No, it needs time. It needs precision. Amanda's baby shower had been the grand event of the year for my family. Pictures everywhere, balloons, gifts, smiling faces, all the same people who told me they wouldn't miss my birthday for anything. Every time I scrolled past one of those photos, the anger burned a little hotter, but it also sharpened my focus. I started taking mental notes. Who posted the most pictures? Who left the most comments? Who ignored the fact that my birthday had even happened? Funny thing was, nobody asked me how my night went. Not one person. And that was my confirmation, they didn't see me as family. They saw me as filler. But they were about to learn that I wasn't filler. I wasn't background. And when I made my move, none of them would see it coming. The first step was subtle. I didn't want fireworks, not yet. Revenge isn't about one big moment, it's about building tension, brick by brick, until the wall you've created comes crashing down on the people who built it. I knew Amanda thrived on attention. She lived for likes, comments, and those little moments where she could shine brighter than everyone else. Her baby shower had given her that spotlight, and she expected it to last. So I started small, silence. When she posted her endless stream of bump pics and pastel balloon arrangements, I didn't like a single one. Not a heart, not a congrats, not even a fake smile emoji. In a family where support was currency, I cut off her supply completely. And it didn't go unnoticed. 2 weeks after the shower, Amanda called me. Not texted, called. "Hey, Lynn, I just noticed you haven't commented on anything about the shower. Everything okay?" I smiled into the phone. "Oh, yeah, I've just been busy. You know how it is." That was all. Sweet, vague, nothing she could pin down. But I could hear the unease in her voice. Amanda hated not being praised. Meanwhile, I started rebuilding myself in quiet ways. I signed up for a kickboxing class, something I'd always wanted to do. I reconnected with a couple of friends outside the family, the ones I'd been too busy to see because I was always attending some cousin's drama or running errands for my mom. And, most importantly, I began writing everything down. A record. Who said what, who ignored what, who pretended to care only when it benefited them. Every lie, every little dismissal, every betrayal. Not because I needed proof. No. Because when the time came, I wanted my revenge to be as poetic as it was devastating. And it all started with Amanda. If I had learned one thing from watching Amanda my whole life, it was this: she loved control. Every conversation, every event, every picture, it all had to orbit around her. That was her weakness, and I was going to use it. The trick wasn't to pull away completely. That would have been too obvious. No, the trick was to lean back in, just enough to remind her of my presence, but on my terms. So I started showing up again, little by little. When Amanda sent group texts about nursery colors, I'd drop in a short, "That's cute." Not too enthusiastic, but not cold either. When she posted another staged photo of her baby bump, I threw in a comment, something polite, but generic, like, "You look healthy." Nothing glowing. Nothing she could brag about. Just, lukewarm. At first, it worked like bait. She noticed. She reached out more, always checking in, always trying to pull me into her drama. And I let her. I let her vent about swollen ankles, about how her husband wasn't paying enough attention, about how stressed she was planning the baby's arrival. I nodded along, offering just enough sympathy to keep her talking. But underneath, I was cataloging everything. Every complaint. Every insecurity. Every flaw she tried so hard to cover. And here's the thing, Amanda trusted me. She thought I was harmless. The sweet cousin who would never bite back, no matter how many times she stole the spotlight. That made her careless. One afternoon, while we were having coffee at her place, she sighed dramatically and said, "I just don't know how I'll handle all this. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm not cut out to be a mom." I sipped my latte and tucked that little confession deep into my memory. One day, it would matter. That was the beauty of revenge. You didn't have to fight loud. Sometimes the quietest moves were the sharpest blades. And I was only just getting started. Revenge is like gardening: you plant seeds, water them with patience, and let time do the rest. With Amanda, I knew the seeds had to be sown carefully. She thrived on her social image, on being the cousin everyone admired, the daughter my aunt bragged about, the friend who always had it all together. So that's exactly where I aimed. I started by listening more than I spoke. Every coffee date, every late-night call, every casual text, Amanda handed me pieces of herself. Her doubts about becoming a mom. Her complaints about her husband working late. Her irritation that her best friend, Megan, wasn't as available as she used to be. Amanda was a leaky faucet, dripping insecurities she thought she could hide. And I was there to collect every drop. The first opportunity came through Megan. We'd gone to high school together, though Amanda never knew how close we'd once been. One night, I sent Megan a casual message, "Hey, just checking in. How are you? Haven't seen you in forever." Within an hour, she wrote back. By the second conversation, Megan was telling me how exhausting Amanda had become, how everything had to revolve around her pregnancy, how she guilt-tripped people into showing up for her. I didn't even have to push. I just nudged the door open. So funny you say that, I wrote, careful with every word. Amanda told me she felt like you weren't really there for her lately. She sounded hurt. That was all it took. Megan bristled, defensive. Seriously? After everything I've done for her? Wow. And just like that, the crack formed. I never lied. That was the beauty of it. Amanda had said it. All I did was repeat her words in the right ear, at the right time. By the end of that week, Megan and Amanda were already colder with each other. Megan stopped commenting on Amanda's posts. Amanda started complaining to me about how people just don't support her like they used to. I hid my smile every time. Because that was step 1, isolate her. And step 2 was going to be even sweeter. Amanda had no idea she was standing in the middle of quicksand, and I was the one quietly pulling the rope. With Megan drifting away, Amanda's circle already felt a little shakier. But I knew one falling domino wasn't enough, I needed more. So I started branching out. Family gatherings were the easiest playground. A birthday dinner for my aunt, a barbecue at my mom's, even casual Sunday visits. I showed up, smiled, and played the role of the attentive listener. People love to talk if you give them silence, and Amanda's name always found its way into conversation. Oh, Amanda's been a little sensitive lately, I'd say, lowering my voice just enough to make it sound like a secret. She told me she's worried she can't handle motherhood. I probably shouldn't even say anything, but... And then I'd stop. Because nothing feeds curiosity more than a half-told story. I never said Amanda was a bad person. I never outright criticized her. I just let people wonder. And once you plant doubt in someone's mind, they'll water it themselves. It worked faster than I expected. My aunt pulled me aside one afternoon, whispering, "Do you think Amanda's really ready for all this? She seems so overwhelmed." I shrugged, like it pained me to agree. "I'm sure she'll be fine. She just says a lot to me when she's stressed." That was all it took. Soon, I noticed a shift. Family members who once rushed to Amanda's side began holding back. A missed phone call here. A forgotten favor there. The spotlight she loved so much started dimming, and she had no idea why. Meanwhile, I made sure to look like the supportive cousin. The one who checked in. The one who offered help, but never too much. To Amanda, I was her safe place. To everyone else, I was the one quietly raising concern. It was delicious, watching her balance on a pedestal while I slowly sawed at the legs. And when she finally fell, I wanted everyone to know exactly who pushed her, without ever realizing it was me. It didn't take long for Amanda to feel the shift. She thrived on constant validation, texts, likes, praise from family at every gathering. So when the energy around her changed, she noticed immediately. She called me late one night, her voice tight with worry. "Linda, do you think people are mad at me?" I played dumb. "What do you mean?" "Well," she sighed, "Megan barely talks to me anymore. My mom seems distant. Even Aunt Carol didn't comment on the baby's ultrasound picture. It's like... I don't know, like people don't care as much anymore." I let the silence stretch, then softened my voice. "I'm sure it's nothing. People are busy. But, if I'm being honest, you have seemed a little stressed lately. Maybe they just don't know how to help you." Amanda groaned. "I am stressed. But isn't that normal? I'm having a baby." "Of course," I said gently. "Anyone in your position would feel overwhelmed. Don't worry, I've got your back." And she believed me. Just like that. Over the next few weeks, Amanda leaned on me more than ever. Every little insecurity, every frustration with her husband, every complaint about the family, it all came my way. And the more she confided in me, the easier it became to slip those words into other ears. At a family dinner, Amanda's mother sighed to me, "She just seems so fragile. I worry she's not ready." At a coffee meetup, Megan muttered, "She's exhausting. I can't deal with her drama anymore." Each time, I just nodded, never saying too much, never pushing too hard. Amanda thought I was her rock. The family thought I was the honest, level-headed cousin just trying to help. And me? I was enjoying every second of pulling the strings. But here's the thing about revenge: you can't rush it, but you also can't drag it out forever. The timing has to be perfect. And with Amanda's due date creeping closer, I knew my window was coming. The real game was about to begin. Amanda's due date was getting closer, and the attention she craved was peaking again. Baby showers were over, gifts were rolling in, and family members who had pulled back a little were circling back to help out. She was basking in it, posting daily updates, soaking up every ounce of sympathy and excitement. But I knew exactly how fragile that glow was. One crack in her image, and it would all come crumbling down. That's when the idea came to me. Simple, clean, devastating. Amanda had been confiding in me about her fears of motherhood. The late-night texts where she admitted she didn't feel ready. The moments she complained about her husband not being supportive enough. The times she wondered if she'd ruin her kid because she wasn't patient or maternal enough. I had it all, word for word. All I needed was the right moment to let it slip. That moment arrived when my aunt hosted a family dinner, one of the last big get-togethers before the baby came. Everyone was there: cousins, uncles, Amanda's parents, even her husband. The kind of audience Amanda lived for. She wore a fitted dress that showed off her bump, glowing in the spotlight, laughing loudly at every joke. And then someone, her mom, I think, asked her, "Are you nervous at all about becoming a mom?" Amanda laughed it off, saying, "Not at all. I've been ready my whole life." I smiled into my drink, waited a beat, and then tilted my head. "Really? That's not what you told me last week." The table went quiet. Amanda froze, blinking at me. "What?" I widened my eyes like I hadn't meant anything by it. "Oh, sorry, I just remember you saying you felt really overwhelmed. I thought you were being honest about that." The silence stretched, heavy and awkward. Amanda's face went pale, then red. She stammered something about hormones, but the damage was done. Her mom frowned. Her husband shifted uncomfortably. And me? I just kept sipping my drink, hiding the smile that wanted to spread across my face. The first public crack had been made. And it was only the beginning. The silence at that dinner stuck like a stain on Amanda's perfect little image. She tried to laugh it off, tried to change the subject, but I could see the discomfort ripple through the table. Her husband kept glancing at her, her mom's smile was tight and forced, and her dad suddenly seemed fascinated by his plate. And I didn't have to say another word. The next day, Amanda called me in a fury. "Why would you say that?" she snapped, her voice shaking. I played dumb. "Say what?" "Amanda, I didn't mean anything. I thought you were being open about how you were feeling. Isn't that normal?" "You made me look weak," she hissed. "Wait, what?" "Amanda, I would never do that. You literally told me those things. I wasn't trying to embarrass you. I thought sharing would make people understand how much pressure you're under." I let my voice crack just slightly, like I was hurt she'd even accuse me. It worked, she immediately softened. I guess I overreacted," she muttered. "I'm just stressed." "Of course you are," I said warmly. "That's why I'm here for you." And just like that, she apologized to me. The very person who'd set her up. But the dinner had already left its mark. Over the next week, I noticed the whispers. My aunt asked me privately if Amanda was really struggling more than she let on. Her husband seemed colder, quieter, like he was second-guessing things. Even Megan, who had been keeping her distance, texted me, "What was up with Amanda at dinner?" She seemed fake. All I did was shrug it off, always careful not to say too much. "She's under a lot of pressure." I probably shouldn't have said anything. That line, "I probably shouldn't have said anything," became my shield. It made me look reluctant, trustworthy. Meanwhile, Amanda's pedestal was slowly crumbling beneath her. And the best part? She still leaned on me the most. Because Amanda didn't see me as a threat. She saw me as the only one left who still believed in her. The cracks in Amanda's image weren't just showing anymore, they were spreading. She called me more often, sometimes twice in a single day. Her voice was always tight, sharp around the edges, like she was holding herself together with string. "Do you think people are talking about me?" she whispered once, as if even the walls could hear. I gave her the answer I knew would keep her coming back. "Of course not, but, well, maybe they just don't understand what you're going through." It was enough to feed her fear, but not enough to point it at me. She'd spiral on her own, then lean on me again for reassurance. A perfect cycle. At family gatherings, I watched her fidget under the weight of glances that probably weren't even there. If her husband took too long to answer a question, she'd snap at him. If her mom offered advice, she'd bristle like a child. The more she tried to keep control, the more obvious it became that she was losing it. And I kept playing my role, the calm cousin, the supportive ear. I was the one people turned to when Amanda acted off. "Linda," my aunt whispered one afternoon, pulling me aside after Amanda had left in tears, "be honest with me. Do you think Amanda's okay?" I sighed, lowering my eyes just enough. "I don't know. She tells me things, but I probably shouldn't repeat them. She doesn't feel as confident as she pretends to be." My aunt pursed her lips, nodding gravely. The seed had been planted deeper. Meanwhile, I was already thinking ahead. The little cracks were good, but they weren't enough. If I wanted Amanda to truly feel what I had felt, that cold emptiness of being abandoned by the very people who swore they loved you, I needed something bigger. A final blow. Public, undeniable, and impossible for her to spin in her favor. And when the opportunity came, I wasn't going to hesitate. Amanda was unraveling fast, but I knew I couldn't leave it at whispers and tension. No, if I wanted revenge that would stick, I needed a moment. A single, undeniable spectacle that would strip Amanda of her crown in front of the people she worked so hard to impress. And then the perfect chance landed in my lap. My aunt called one evening, excited. "We're throwing Amanda a little celebration dinner before the baby comes. Nothing too big, just family and close friends. I think it'll be good for her, she's been so emotional lately." I could hear the worry in her voice, even as she tried to sound cheerful. Amanda's cracks weren't invisible anymore. But this dinner? This was her chance to reclaim the spotlight. And my chance to take it away. I started planning quietly. The first move was simple. I encouraged Amanda. "This is your night," I told her when she called to gush about it. "Everyone will see how strong and ready you are. Just be yourself." She ate it up, desperate for reassurance. The second move was a little trickier, but I'd learned to play people against each other. I reached out to Megan, the once best friend Amanda had pushed away. "You should come," I said casually. "It'd mean a lot to Amanda. She misses you, even if she won't say it." Megan hesitated, then agreed. I knew Amanda wouldn't be expecting her, and that surprise alone would throw her off balance. The final touch? I kept reminding Amanda of her own words. Little echoes of her doubts slipped into conversation. "Remember, don't stress if people ask hard questions. You've got this." Or, "You've been practicing sounding confident, right?" Every time, she laughed nervously, but I could see the panic building in her eyes. By the time the night of the dinner arrived, Amanda was a balloon stretched too tight, waiting for the smallest pinprick to burst. And I was holding the needle. The restaurant was warm and buzzing, filled with the sound of clinking glasses and low conversation. Amanda walked in with that familiar practiced smile, her husband at her side, her hand resting dramatically on her stomach as if the world needed reminding she was carrying life itself. Everyone clapped, cheered, stood up to hug her. She was glowing on the outside. But I could see it, her eyes darting, her laugh too sharp, her movements just a touch too stiff. The cracks were right there beneath the surface. I sat back, silent, playing my role. The supportive cousin. The safe one. Dinner went smoothly at first. People toasted her, showered her with praise, told her how excited they were for the baby. Amanda thrived in that spotlight, drinking it in like water in a desert. Then Megan walked in. The smile on Amanda's face faltered just for a second, but it was enough. A hush fell, then forced smiles spread around the table. Amanda rose to hug her, her voice an octave higher than usual. "Oh my gosh, Megan. What a surprise." I hid my smile behind a sip of wine. From there, it unraveled like I'd known it would. Amanda tried too hard, cracking jokes that didn't land, oversharing little stories, cutting people off mid-sentence to redirect attention back to herself. The more she flailed, the quieter the table became. And then came the moment. Her aunt, sweet, gentle, well-meaning, asked her the same question that had started it all weeks before. "Amanda, are you nervous about being a mom?" Amanda froze. Her eyes flicked to Megan, then to me. Her smile twitched. And then she snapped. "I wish people would stop asking me that. Do you all think I'm some kind of failure already? Do you think I can't handle this?" Her voice was sharp, too loud, echoing across the table. Forks paused midair. Her husband touched her arm, trying to calm her, but she jerked away. "No one supports me. Everyone just waits for me to screw up." The silence that followed was suffocating. Amanda realized too late what she'd done. Tears welled in her eyes as she tried to backtrack, but the damage was done. The whispers were no longer whispers, they were written across everyone's faces. And me? I just reached out, gently touched her hand, and said, "It's okay, Amanda. We all know you're under a lot of pressure." The picture was complete: Amanda, out of control. Me, calm and supportive. Exactly as I'd planned. The days after the dinner were almost too quiet. No group texts about how fun the night had been, no cheerful photos uploaded to Facebook, no excited chatter about the baby. Just silence. That silence said everything. I didn't even have to ask. People started coming to me. My aunt called first, her voice heavy. "Linda, did you see the way Amanda lashed out? I don't know what's happening to her." I gave my standard reply, soft and careful. "She's just overwhelmed. I probably shouldn't say this, but she's confided in me that she feels like she's not ready. She didn't mean to explode, it's just all bottled up." "Oh, dear," my aunt sighed. "She's not herself at all." Then it was her husband. He cornered me in the grocery store, of all places. "Hey, Linda. You've been close to Amanda lately, right? Is she okay? She hasn't really been herself with me either." I tilted my head like it pained me to answer. "She's scared, Ben. She said things that make me think she's just not confident. I'm sure she'll come around, but maybe she just needs space." He frowned, nodded slowly, and walked away looking more tired than I'd ever seen him. And then came Megan. "You saw what happened at dinner," she said flatly over coffee. "That wasn't hormones. That was Amanda finally showing her true colors. She's been like this forever, selfish, dramatic, always making everything about her." I just sipped my drink, letting her vent. All I had to do was listen. Amanda, meanwhile, was unraveling faster by the day. She texted me constantly, desperate for reassurance. "Do you think everyone hates me? My mom hasn't called since the dinner. Ben's so distant lately, I think he blames me." And every time, I was there with gentle, calculated words. Just enough comfort to keep her tethered to me, just enough silence to let her paranoia grow. Because now, the family didn't just see Amanda as dramatic. They saw her as unstable. And I, the girl they'd all abandoned on her birthday, was suddenly the voice of reason. Exactly where I wanted to be. Amanda was hanging on by a thread, and I knew it. The texts came at all hours, sometimes frantic, sometimes pitiful, always the same. a plea for me to tell her everything was going to be okay. But by then, it wasn't about comfort anymore. It was about finishing what I started. The opportunity came one Saturday afternoon, when Amanda invited me over. She was sitting on the couch in sweatpants, her hair unwashed, her face pale. She looked nothing like the flawless cousin who once dominated every family photo. "I don't think anyone wants me around anymore," she whispered, fiddling with her hands. "Even Ben barely talks to me. My mom avoids me. Linda, what if I'm already a terrible mother?" I leaned forward, lowered my voice. "Amanda, people are worried. They don't say it to your face, but they talk." Her eyes widened. "What do you mean?" I let the pause stretch, then sighed like I regretted saying anything. "Your mom told me she thinks you're not ready. Ben asked me if you were okay. Even Megan thinks you've been too much lately. I've defended you, but..." Amanda's face crumpled. Her eyes filled with tears. They said that?" I nodded slowly. "I didn't want to tell you, but maybe it's better you know. You've been pushing people away without realizing it. And now they don't know how to help you." It was the final push. The last string. Amanda broke down completely, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. And I held her. I stroked her hair, whispered soft reassurances, pretended to be the only person still on her side. All while knowing that I had just severed every other connection she had left. By the time I left that evening, Amanda was hollow. Fragile. Alone. And me? I walked out with a calmness I hadn't felt in years. Because I had taken everything she once took from me, attention, love, loyalty, and left her standing in the same emptiness I'd known on my birthday. Except this time, she wouldn't recover so easily.